guys are doing well. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. You guys know this. And I want to welcome everybody as you come in. And I want to really point out something that got me super excited today. Some of you know about Carvana stock. Carvana has just literally doubled in 1 month. It's kind of insane. And I'm super excited about it because I talked to my students about it just a couple days ago or a few days ago. And so it looks like a lot of y'all made some money, and I'm super happy about that. Anyway, as you come in, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes if you can hear me in the chat. Let me see here. All right. So let me and also shout out the city that you're from. And I'm gonna invite some people into this conversation. There we go. All right, and so let's see here. I see playing now. One big open truth. B1 fam. Good to see you. Shout out. Let me know what city you're from. I'll shout the city back. Aubrey, how you doing? Katina and Montania. Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'm actually on TikTok. I'm live streaming on TikTok too. My TikTok is just Boyce Watkins, so you can feel free to look me up on TikTok. And also, this podcast is on Spotify. So I don't know if anybody has noticed or paid attention, but Carvana is one of those stocks that really made a move this week. It kind of went berserk. It actually went up, I want to say about 42% today. And over the course of this month, it's gone up, I want to say about 97%. And what I'm going to do is actually put Carvana stock on the chart. And I think Carvana stock is really a great example of something that I've consistently mentioned to you guys, that a good company is not always a good investment, and a bad company is not always a bad investment. Because I'm going to tell you, as far as good or bad companies go, Carvana is not exactly at the top of the list in terms of of companies with just solid business models. In fact, their stock has literally been hammered so badly that, if I'm not mistaken, the stock price now is literally a fraction of what it once was. Now I'm going to put this on the screen so you guys can see it here. You can see the Carvana stock just today alone. I was just had it on my screen. Every morning when I'm exercising, I'll have Bloomberg up on the TV, and I saw Carvana up 42%. And I said to my wife, I said, "Yeah, I think we bought some Carvana. Let me go see what's going on here." And then we saw all the money, and it was like, "Yeah, that's awesome, right?" So anyway, as you hit the like button, everybody hit the like button. Here you can see that the stock went up 43% today. The last 5 days, it's gone up 48%. The last month, you look here, it's gone up 96.5%, right? So that means that a $10 investment would have doubled to 20. A $10,000 investment would have been 20,000, whatever number you put in there. Now, if you look at the stock over longer ranges, you can see in the last 6 months, it's kind of gone insane. It's gone up 347% in the last 6 months. That's pretty amazing. That's an amazing movement in the stock price. Let's look at the last year, though. Look at the last year. That's when everything turns blood red. So here, people were buying when the stock was as high as $51 a share. And if you look over a 5-year range, the stock, it's even worse. People were once buying Carvana. Pay attention now. I want y'all to listen. People were once buying Carvana for $349 a share. Can y'all see that? Do y'all see all that bloody red on the screen? If you don't see it on the screen and you're on TikTok, just imagine a blood red screen where tons of money is being lost, lots of financial carnage, people getting killed. And you can see here where the stock actually, when it was at its peak, this is about 2021. Carvana has a business model where I guess they sell cars in this weird way, and vending machines and all this other stuff. And it was pretty innovative, but there were lots of questions about Carvana's finances, questions about their business model, questions about their operational procedures. The stock literally went so straight to hell that people wondered if this company was even going to exist in 2023. And so effectively what has occurred is that Carvana has started to kind of resurrect itself. But I want you to compare, right? This is a really important lesson about how perspective is critical in investing, right? Perspective is critical because broke people don't understand this. Broke people don't understand this, and I fight with people on the internet all the time because you have a lot of men out here that and women out here that just really are so interested in all these other things outside of investing. They think investing is boring, and I don't think money is ever boring. And so anyway, I see John Maxwell made a stupid little comment in here. So I'm going to say this though. What John Maxwell should understand is that as much as you might be mad at me, as much as you might be jealous of me, as much as you might be jealous of people that are doing well and you're not, just understand that building wealth requires you to have a level head. It requires you to be intelligent. It requires you to be able to maintain perspective as it pertains to what's going on with a particular asset, right? So here with Carvana, you can see here the price is $22.68 right now. That looks like a big price. That looks like a high price. It looks like, wow, look at how high Carvana is, but $22 is nothing compared to the 349 that it was once trading for. So the point here that I want to make is that Carvana shows you that sometimes the absolute worst company, the company that's down in the dumps, the one that's getting its butt kicked, can be the one that actually makes you the most money. It's in certain situations. It doesn't always work out this way. It doesn't always turn out like that, right? Now, if you're in the Prime program, you guys know for a fact, all the students who are in the Prime program, if you're in here, feel free to say something in the chat. I told you guys about this stock earlier this week because I took a big position in the stock. So that's part of the reason why I'm in a good mood, because I made a bunch of money. My wife gave me an extra kiss when I showed her the stock. And so the reason I was interested in Carvana was not because I knew for a fact that the stock was going to do something like this. I liked Carvana because the premiums on the stock options were very high. And Carvana, to some extent, I believe, has moved into the region of almost becoming like a meme stock. And so when you talk about meme stocks, they have a weird, almost irrational investing pattern around them. You have people that will just pay any price for these stocks. They'll pay any price for the options. They just want to get a piece of the action. And so what I do is, I don't necessarily want to play that game with you, but I will sell my stock options to you so you can gamble with the stock that I own. You gamble, I get my money. I don't need to be greedy. I don't need everything. So now, can you short Carvana? Yes, you can short it. There's a lot of people shorting Carvana because there are a lot of people who believe that this increase is temporary. I personally sold some of my shares because I'm not greedy. I also bought some put options to protect my position from the downside because now the put options are extra cheap. I could buy a $12 put option, which would have been extremely expensive 2 days ago, and I could buy it for a fraction of what it would have cost yesterday or the day before that. So what's the long-term play? Well, the long-term play is I'm going to just use my Carvana shares to generate weekly income by selling those call options on that stock. I want to sell out of the money calls to all the people that believe Carvana is going to keep on going up forever. I don't believe Carvana could keep going up forever. I don't know what Carvana is going to do. And that's the thing about investing too that's interesting. A lot of people think that because I have a PhD in finance that I'm supposed to be able to predict what a stock is going to do. Well, what a PhD teaches you actually is that you can't predict what a stock's going to do. That's the biggest thing you learn when you get a doctorate in this stuff is you know what you know and you know what you don't know. And then you know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know what you don't know, right? Does that make sense, right? Maybe it doesn't. It sounds kind of crazy, but let me explain. There are things you can control with investing. There are things that you cannot. There are plenty of people out here who don't have any credentials in investing who will tell you all day, oh, I can tell you for sure what's going to happen. Most of those people are lying. Most of those people are full of crap. But the problem is that it's not like there's some researcher sitting next to them that's going to correct them when they come out and they make things up. People are going to believe it if it sounds good. But I can tell you as a person who got paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit around and go through gigabytes of financial data on stock prices, I can tell you that you can't predict what these stocks are going to do. You cannot make that prediction. So with Carvana, I look at Carvana as this big beautiful Bronco that made me a lot of money, but it's also the big beautiful Bronco that could cost me a lot of money tomorrow. So when you get something that's that volatile, your next goal should be to protect your position and think about what your goals are. What's the stock really going to do for me? The other thing is I'm not dumping all my money into Carvana, thinking that Carvana is going to be the thing that makes me super rich. I'm not doing that. That's bad investing. Number two, I put some puts in place to kind of give me a floor, so that if things go bad tomorrow, I'm not going to lose everything. What else do I do? Well, I like to sell call options because that's a somewhat bearish strategy. That's me saying, yeah, I'm excited, but it is what do you call it? Cautious optimism. I'm cautiously optimistic that this stock is doing well. Maybe it'll keep going up. I want to be there for that, but it could go down. So let me shave a little bit off the top, right? So effectively managing your investments is something that you really want to understand when it comes to your stocks, your options, everything else. Options are an important part of that. And actually, we have a program called Prime where all we do is we look for stocks like Carvana that we can actually sell call options on to generate income. So if you're interested, feel free to go to my website, boycewatkins.com, and watch that video called How to Make Money Without Working. And that's where I kind of explain how it all works and all this other stuff. This is what I actually do to make my money. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. The training's right there. Also, I'd like to, if you will give me a second, I want to say thank you to the people who help make these podcasts possible. Dr. Q's FreshBreathClub.com. Dr. Quigless is a dentist out of St. Louis, one of the most respected Black dentists in the country. And he actually has a suite of dental products that he owns. It's a Black-owned company. And also he has an affiliate program where you can actually offer his products to your friends without actually having to take delivery of anything or get anything. They do all the shipping for you, and you can get 20% of whatever you sell. So if you have friends that brush their teeth, or you have friends that don't want their breath to stink, you can go to Dr. Q's FreshBreathClub.com, and you can sign up for his affiliate program and offer this Black-owned product to your friends. Take business away from Colgate and Procter & Gamble and give it to the Black community. So Dr. Q's FreshBreathClub.com is one of the sponsors. So thank you to him. All right, so let's hop back in. So we're talking about Carvana. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let's see. JB Girl's asking, what time is the meeting tonight for Prime members? Actually, there is no meeting tonight, but I am going to text you guys very soon, and we're going to schedule a meeting. So tonight, there is no meeting. We don't meet every single week. But actually, I was going to do an interview with Professor James Small, and that actually got canceled. So maybe I could do an emergency Prime meeting, but I don't want it to be on too short a notice. So just I'll text you guys and let you guys know when we're going to meet. And anybody who wants to learn more about how I generate consistent income selling stock options, feel free to go to drboyceprime.com. That it tells you everything that comes with the training. So feel free to take a look at that. All right, so here is I'm gonna read a little bit more about Carvana and kind of talk about what's going on here, what the dynamics are, so you can understand what's going on. So here it says that Carvana stock was trading 25% higher on Thursday after the online car retailer updated its outlook following months of aggressive cost cutting. The Tempe, Arizona company announced it expects to achieve adjusted EBITDA earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation of above $50 million in the second quarter of 2023. Earlier this year, Carvana has signaled it would reach positive adjusted earnings in the second quarter, but hadn't given an exact amount. Carvana also expected its non-GAAP, don't worry about what GAAP, just generally accepted accounting principles, non-GAAP total gross profit per vehicle to come in above $6,000, representing a new company record and a more than 63% improvement compared to the same quarter last year. The team's persistent focus on driving profitability has resulted in significant savings and efficiencies, and this work will persist as we continue to execute our plan, says CEO Ernie Garcia in a company statement. So the shares have gained more than 300% year to date, amid rallies reminiscent of a pandemic-era meme craze. So that's where that word meme is coming in. There are lots of people who believe, and I am one of them, that Carvana could become one of these meme stocks. Now, when you see a meme stock trading, one of the biggest things that you don't want to do is start participating in the meme craze. I don't believe in that. I believe that that's for suckers. I really do. I think that when you're buying meme stocks on a regular basis, hoping that they're going to keep going up, I'm not going to say suckers. I don't want to be mean. It's gambling. It's basically gambling, because what you're doing is your prices are floating on thin air. There's no fundamental valuation to kind of justify what you're paying, and bad things can happen. And you see what happened, like for example, with GameStop. GameStop dropped about 30% the other day, and there's no legitimate reasons why these stocks kind of do what they do. So you got to be real careful with meme stocks. However, think of a meme stock. The way I visualize a meme stock is a meme stock is like the way GameStop took off, and the way what was it? AMC took off and all that. That's what that was, Cynthia. And by the way, Yinka, you're asking about the Prime text messages. Yeah, I'm going to send out an email and tell you how to get on the text list for students that are in the Prime program. So just check your email, Yinka, and also you can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com if you're not getting the messages. But I thought you got a message. That's why you were here. But it's okay though. I'll email you the information. All right. So basically with meme stocks, These are stocks that kind of behave in an irrational way. They can do these really crazy dramatic things where suddenly the stock price will go up, 300% for no reason at all. And this frustrated a lot of the researchers and a lot of the experts in investing. It frustrates people like the Warren Buffetts who believe that financial valuations are supposed to make sense. But what happens is that when the market goes crazy, whenever you're in the middle of a frenzy, everything starts to go nuts. So what I visualize it when there's when everything when there's like all this pandemonium going on with where everybody's euphoric about stock prices because they're going up, and everybody's making money. I visualize a nightclub where everybody's drunk, right? I visualize a club where everybody's drunk and they're using drugs and everybody's high, and nobody's really in touch with reality. So in that situation, you don't want to be high and drunk like everybody else because that's not going to put you in a good position and makes you vulnerable. But if you're the nightclub owner, then you understand little things like whenever people are high and drunk, they waste their money. They do silly things, right? They'll buy extra liquor, they'll buy up the bar just because they want to impress the girls or whatever. So a nightclub owner says, drink up, do what you want to do, have fun, and then he's in the back counting his money. A lot of the nightclub owners don't even drink. They want everybody else drinking, right? So effectively, what I want to encourage you to do is be the nightclub owner. When you see meme stocks acting crazy, you can do things, for example, one thing that I did to make a ton of money off GameStop was when people were paying a lot of money for those stock options, I sold the options. I don't want to be a buyer. I want to be a seller. When the price of something goes up, you don't want to be the buyer. You want to be the seller. So I just went in and I would just sell the options and let people gamble and speculate. And then I would just get my money. And that actually happens in a lot of other areas. Like, for example, NVIDIA. A lot of you saw NVIDIA stock just shoot up like crazy. Anybody remember when NVIDIA went up? Anybody happen to own NVIDIA? NVIDIA is just such a beautiful company, the way they were able to benefit so much from the AI revolution. Well, NVIDIA isn't rolling the dice on AI. NVIDIA is providing what they refer to as picks and shovels for AI. NVIDIA is going to make money whether AI works or not, or whether these companies, these other ventures succeed or not. Why? Well, because NVIDIA makes the chips that you need if you even want to play the game of AI. If you want to create an AI venture, you need NVIDIA chips to do that. So they're not trying to get in and compete with the AI companies per se. They're just providing the supplies for companies that want to compete in AI, right? So ultimately, I don't need to be in the basketball game, but I like selling the basketballs, right? If that makes any sense. So effectively with Carvana, what I see is that the stock price likely went up, number one, because the guidance was very good, meaning that the company came out and said, these are our numbers, but we expect our numbers to be really strong. A lot of that forward-looking guidance, these predictions, these expectations can move a price up in the stock. The other thing that happened with Carvana that I saw, when I look at Carvana, I look at a company that is like think of it like a basketball player. He's not the MVP, but he might be the most improved player, right? Or the best, or win the what they call the six man award. In basketball, you have the six man award, which is not the best player on the team, but he's the guy that comes off the bench and contributes at a level that exceeds expectations. And that's why it's Carvana was a massive moneymaker for people who bought that stock when it was low, is because they expected the company to only make a certain amount of money, and they made much more than that. Now, if you were a Carvana owner going back to when it was 349, then you're still upset. You're still mad because you still lost over 90% of your investment. 90%. So just understand this. This is another important thing you got to understand. A lot of people don't get, they think that when you become an investor, you're going to always make money. They think that because you're an investor or because you're a business owner or whatever, that you're always going to make money. That is so not true. Every investor, every business owner isn't always rich. And so never believe that. There are financial challenges that come with every level of the game, whether you're the owner of the business or you're the employee. Everybody has some sort of financial problem they have to solve. So with investing, you have that volatility that does occur in the stock market. The best thing you can do is manage it. You can wait it out. And you also have to have some courage to have the ability to keep investing even as the price goes down. So if you bought Carvana at 349 and then you watched it drop down to 320, then you watched it drop down to 280, then you saw it drop down to 220, then you saw it drop down to 150. And then, if you were buying all the way down, just buy, just what they call dollar cost averaging, because you just believe in the company and you were buying all the way down into the dip to when it was $6, $7 a share, then maybe you made a little bit of money. Maybe you made a little bit of money. I made money from Carvana because I bought a few hundred shares when it was at 6. Now it's at 22. Life is good on my Carvana investment. But that does not mean that this is a good company, right? This company was absolute garbage. And what they did was they took garbage and they made it into less stinky garbage, right? So the garbage used to really stink and really used to be rotten. And now it's like garbage that's almost tolerable, but it's not a diamond. It's not a gold mine. It's not a beautiful company that's just going to make insane amounts of money. It's still a company that has significant problems, but it just so happens that those problems are not as bad as they used to be. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. Give me a yes if you get that. And also, I want to remind everybody that my podcast is on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. You can find it there. If you are into content that will make you smarter, richer, and happier, then I'm your guy. That's my goal. Every day I say, how can I make people smarter, richer, and happier? So that's what we do here. And also, I want to say thank you to another sponsor of this podcast, MJWest.Solutions. MJWest.Solutions. That's the website, not .com. It's MJWest.Solutions. And this brother, let me tell you about MJ West. He is into fitness and he's into helping Black people become healthy. I saw a study today. I was talking about how health is wealth, but health is not wealth. Health is actually more important than wealth, because if you don't take care of your health because you're off making money, then you're going to lose all your money anyway. So you might as well not even do anything, because all that's going to happen is the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals are going to take their money back. They'll sell you the donuts in the front of the store and the diabetes medication in the back. And let me tell you something I saw today that got my attention. This is what inspired me to work out even this morning again with my wife. I saw where there was a guy who said, and I don't know what his credentials are, so I can't vouch for the information too much, but he did say that he said that if a woman is obese, pay attention now, this is going to change your life. He said if a woman is obese and she works out regularly, she will on average live longer than a woman who is not obese, who does not work out. Did y'all get that? Did y'all hear that? That a fat woman who works out is going to live longer than a thin woman who doesn't work out. He also said, I couldn't believe this. This blew my mind. He said a man that smokes with hypertension that works out regularly is going to live longer than a man who does none of those things, who does not work out. I was stunned when he said that. So I was like, wait a minute, a man who smokes and has hypertension that works out lives longer than a man who doesn't have those things, who doesn't work out. So and then he said, this is another piece, just a little factoid to carry away with you with this conversation. He said that for every hour you spend working out, you live an extra 3 hours. Did y'all catch that? Okay, so I want you to kind of consider this information. I really, as much as I want to see everybody investing, that's my goal. I'd like to see everyone investing a little bit. That's going to make a big difference for your children. But I also want to see you investing in all the things that matter. And I'm gonna tell you, your bank account's important, your stock portfolio is important, but it's not as important as your health. You lose your health, life gets pretty bad pretty fast. So make those investments. I want you to think about investing in a holistic framework. Anything I sacrifice for now that gives me benefits in the future, that is an investment. Every conversation you have with your child, every minute you spend in the gym, every second you spend in therapy, every minute you spend trying to work on your marriage, all those things are investments. Do you understand? Every minute you're spending listening to me, because you could be doing other things. You're investing right now. Now pay attention now. Look, I'm not as popular online as, because I piss people off because I tell the truth and I don't care what people think. I'm not as popular as like a rapper with 8 babies mamas. If I was some rapper with a talking about my babies mamas on Instagram, I'd have 100,000 people in the gram listening to me explain how to destroy your life, how to catch STDs, how to kill each other, and how to waste all your money. Right? That those conversations get lots of traffic from the community. These conversations about ways to make your life better, ways to solve problems, ways to build strong families, ways to build wealth, these are not popular conversations because we've been put into this victim box. So really, by being here, you're saying something to me about who you are. And like when I meet B1 people around the world, when I meet y'all don't show up ignorant. When I meet y'all don't show up raggedy. When I meet y'all don't show up with bad values. You show up with solid families. You show up as a happy, whole person. You show up as a person who's making the right decisions. And I can tell you, I promise you, with everything I put on everything I love, if you make those investments now, they will pay off. You just got to do something every day that's going to make your life a little better. So give me a yes if that's okay that I went on that little rant. I had to share that because I think this kind of stuff is very, very important. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let's finish up our conversation about Carvana. And I want to say thank you to MJ West Solutions for helping sponsor this podcast. If you have a Black-owned business and you'd like for us to shout you out, just go to drboycefinance.com. I'll leave the URL on the screen, drboycefinance.com. Micah is the name of the person that will take care of you. Tell her I sent you and she'll hook you up. And someone says, do you ever wonder why people are so drawn to negativity? I think that draw to negativity, to be honest with you, comes from the fact that I think as Black people, we're really trained on victimhood. I believe early in life, we're trained to just kind of feel like we have no say in how our lives turn out. And every single study I've read shows that the less control you feel over your environment, the more depressed you are. So it's not a coincidence that Black people have the highest rates of depression and anxiety, because one thing that they find in research studies is that when you don't feel like you can change your condition, when you don't feel like there's a way out, when it creates hopelessness. Hopelessness creates shiftlessness, because it's like, why would I even try if there's no hope, right? Why would I go dig for gold in the backyard when I believe that there is no gold back there, right? So that hopelessness creates it does create a kind of laziness where you just say, well, I'm not going to try because the white man's going to stop me if I try anyway. And then also it makes you depressed. So there's lots of depression in our community because nobody ever told you that you can be a factor and a player in this game called your life. Like that your choices, your actions, your investments are going to make the biggest difference in terms of how you turn out. And that's not a popular message. People get mad because they think I'm talking like a Republican, and I tell them, I'm like, look, I'm not into Democrat or Republican stuff. I don't vote for Trump or Biden, but it doesn't matter. You know, people have been taught to believe that, and I believe that there's an effort for people to keep us negative and to keep us helpless. Because if I convince you that you're sick and I convince you that you can't get better on your own, then you're going to become desperate and scared. And then I can say, here, take this pill, or here, do this thing for me. And then I can take care of you, right? I'm going to lend my power when I'm afraid and helpless. Then I give power away to other people. So that's why in politics, they'll say, well, your life will be better if you just vote for this guy, or your life will be better if you just get this shot, right? Instead of being proactive about your health, just get this shot and it'll make everything go better, or make everything better, and you don't have to do anything, right? So to some extent, I think that Black people are trained to think like children. We're really treated like children in this country, and I'm not a fan of that because I'm a grown-ass man. I'm sorry. That's what I'm going to be, and I'm not going to change that. All right, so anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My website's boycewatkins.com. There's lots of free resources there. Also, we have financial flashcards for children, financial workbooks for kids, things like that. So if you have kids this summer, you want to get them ahead of the curve. I am a finance professor. You guys know this. I have to repeat this for new people to come in. And I have some great tools that will get your kids 100,000 years ahead of the competition. All right, so let me read a little bit more about Carvana Stock, and then we're going to call it a day before we bounce out. And some of you are listening on Spotify. Look up Boyce Watkins. You can find us on Spotify. So if you ask me, so here's another thing that they wrote about Carvana in Yahoo. They said that the company, once a pandemic darling, laid off workers last year in an effort to cut costs and preserve cash. The used car industry, which experienced record high inflation in 2022, has seen prices soften this year amid higher interest rates. Carvana stock was crushed last year over concerns of possible bankruptcy. Douglas Arthur, managing director of Huber Research Partners, told Yahoo Finance earlier this year, quote, the equity market is largely shut off and the bond market is largely shut off. So where is the money going to come from if they run out of money? That is a big problem companies run into. A lot of people don't know this, but companies don't typically fail because they can't be profitable. Companies fail because they don't have cash. Cash is what messes you up. If I had a choice between being profitable and versus having like access to all the cash I need to keep me afloat, I'd rather have the cash. The profitability is nice. Don't get me wrong. But do you know how many billionaires and multi-billion-dollar companies just survive because they've got access to the cash they need? Their companies, I don't know if Uber's making a profit yet, but some of these companies, Uber, Amazon, others, lost billions of dollars every year for years and years in a row. So having money available is really one of the biggest barriers for Black-owned businesses, right? You have a good business, but even a good business is going to have a downturn. Even a good business is going to have some situations that don't quite work out. And having cash available is almost like it's almost like having a house and having the fire department nearby, so that in case something catches on fire, you can put the fire out. It's not ironic that money is called liquidity, because I think of it like almost like a fire department. If you have access to cash, that really solves a lot of financial problems in ways that are deeper than you can even imagine. Access to cash is everything. Cash really is king in that way, in the sense that if you give me access to cash, if Warren Buffett said, Boyce, I don't want to give you any money to build the Black Business School, but I'm going to give you access to borrow up to $1 billion at any time you want, interest free, then that's it. You can't tell me nothing. At that point, I'm worth a couple hundred million just by having access to Warren Buffett's money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just having access to cash, that's huge. In fact, when we have the reparations conversation, when they start asking what do Black people want for the next election, I'm going to say, as part of reparations, I want access to capital. I want every Black person who's been trained to understand the value of home ownership to be able to go to the bank and get a loan, a low interest or interest-free loan for at least $300,000 so they can buy a home. First step one, that increases Black wealth by $1 trillion right there. That right there increases Black wealth by $1 trillion, because homeowners have more wealth than poor people. Number two, I would say I want every Black business owner with a solid business plan to be able to get access to $250,000 in capital, in cash. It doesn't have to be a grant, doesn't have to be a donation, just cash, interest free, that they can use to scale up their business. And then we'll train them on what to do. We'll help them figure out what to do with the cash, but I want them to have access to the cash. That increases Black wealth by another $1 trillion or $2 trillion. You don't understand. Access to capital is everything. That's that side of systematic racism that a lot of you don't see, because we're not trained to sort of understand that and think about that. We think that access to cash is or borrowing money is bad. No, borrowing money could be the thing that changes your life. Every great company in America has debt, damn near. Netflix was making $2 billion a month in their company, and they still went out and borrowed $14 billion. Well, why would they do that? If you're making $2 billion a month, why do you have to go borrow $14 billion? Well, because they wanted to expand. They had good ideas, good investment opportunities. They wanted to be able to go out and grab everything, right? So effectively, that access to capital, that access to cash thing, that's what made me worry about Carvana. Is profitability is one thing for sure, but it was really their access to cash that was going to drive them into bankruptcy. So apparently they must have solved that problem. Looks like Carvana is able to make some moves that's keeping them alive. I don't think that this news means that they're not gonna go bankrupt. I think they could still they're still not out of the woods yet. Because remember, this stock is at 22. It used to trade at 349. It'll probably never get back to 349. I can't imagine that. But then again, though, if you like to speculate, it might be a stock worth looking at. I'm going to keep ownership of some of my shares. I sold off about 20% of my position. I'm going to sell call options on the stock because the calls sell pretty good, and that's why. And I bought some puts. When I sold the stock, I bought some puts so I could create a floor so that I can minimize my losses if the stock crashes again. All right, so that's my 2 cents. That's it. And someone mentioned Affirm. Affirm is doing pretty well. Yeah, that's another one we had talked about. I got to go look at it, but it looks like Affirm is doing pretty well, so that's a good thing too. All right. So by the way, if you want to join us for Prime class and learn how we generate consistent income with the sale of stock options, just go to boycewatkins.com. There's a training called How to Make Money Without Working. It's totally free. Take a look at that, and that'll kind of get you started and kind of let you know what we do in case you want to join us. So take care, guys. Have a wonderful day. God bless you, and I will see you soon. Be good. Peace.